So most people are going to spend their entire lives trying to change the results and failing. Why? Because they're not changing the identity that's driving them. So most people are going to unknowingly try to build some confidence, but underneath there's identity that says, I'm just not worthy. You're trying to create abundance, but you still fear success. Maybe you're trying to heal your nervous system, but you're still operating in survival mode. And so what happens is these patterns just keep repeating, these cycles. You're trying, you're working harder, but you're still getting the same results. If you never change the belief and identity running underneath your behavior, you can spend years exhausted, stuck, overthinking, self-sabotaging, and wondering why your life never fully changed. So I'm going to give you an example. I had a client years ago. He was in his early 30s who came to me completely frustrated in his career. For almost 5 years, he'd been stuck in the same position. He worked hard. He showed up early. He did the extra work. He had consistent sales. He was even loyal to the company. But year after year after year, he watched people with less experience, less consistency, and even less work ethic kept passing him up. Now, what hurt him even more was that every time he trained someone, they would quit almost every single time. And so naturally, he thought the problem was leadership. I'm going to blame the company. I'm going to blame the territory. I'm going to blame the client. And then he started blaming the people he was training. Oh, they weren't good anyway. But then he got really frustrated. So we had a session. And during hypnosis, we uncovered something much, much deeper. When he was a child, he had extremely intense coaches and he had parents who really pressured him to constantly win, to perform, to be perfect. Every time he messed up, he would get in trouble. And so during the session, one memory came up where he was around 8 years old and he didn't make the swim team. Now, to an adult mind, that doesn't seem life changing. But to the child's emotional mind, moments like that become evidence of maybe I'm not good enough. And this is what people don't really understand about our subconscious mind. It's not just one moment, it's repeated emotional experiences that create a pattern. The hypnosis simply helped uncover one memory that represented deeper beliefs that he'd been carrying for years. So, when a child repeatedly feels some pressure, criticism, rejection, perfectionism, or just need to earn love through performance, or at least that's what they think, the brain starts building an identity around it. And once the subconscious forms a belief like I'm not good enough, the brain will start unconsciously looking for evidence to prove itself right every single time. So every rejection reinforces it, every mistake reinforces it, every setback reinforces it, every obstacle reinforces it. Oh, well, I'm just not good enough. So why even try? So even when he succeeded, his nervous system still carried an emotional identity of someone trying to prove his worth that never went away. So it didn't matter the results. So as an adult, he unknowingly built his entire career from pressure, perfectionism, overworking, and just fear of failure. Now, because deep down he did not actually feel worthy of leadership, he consistently sabotaged a situation that could have led him somewhere else. He didn't do it intentionally, it was unconscious or subconscious. Now, because the subconscious mind will always try to keep your external reality aligned with your internal identity, every time he trained someone, there was pressure underneath it, fear underneath it. He needed to prove himself underneath it. And the people could feel that energy. Now, some people may hear this and think, yeah, but I work really hard, harder than everyone else. Why am I getting passed up? I believe I'm good enough. Well, maybe not. Hard work does not automatically override your subconscious identity. And that's what we have to uncover. So if deep down you still believe you're not good enough, your nervous system will create behaviors rooted in all of that to show up as your identity. So maybe you're thinking, well, genuinely, I really wanted those people to succeed, the ones that cared. Well, consciously, yes. But subconsciously, my client was terrified of failure and rejection. So every interaction had pressure under it, like, please don't fail, please don't quit, I need this to work. People can feel that emotional energy even if your words sound supportive. Maybe you're thinking, but how could a childhood experience one still affect me so much as an adult? Because it's not just one moment, it's repeated emotional experiences that create that behavior and that identity. Remember, our minds look for evidence to prove ourselves right. So once the subconscious forms a belief like I'm not good enough, the brain will constantly look for evidence to prove itself right. That's why people stay stuck in patterns they constantly want to change. But here's the great thing: your brain can change, your nervous system can change, your identity can change. And once we start rewiring that belief, and his belief was, I have to earn love and worth through performance, we switched to, I'm already enough. I'm lovable simply because I exist. I do not have to prove my worth to deserve success, love, and respect. And he started rewiring that on repetition. I gave him a meditation to listen to over and over. Everything began changing. His communication changed. His confidence became grounded instead of forced. It was constantly drained. People stayed longer, and he stopped taking every setback as personal. So instead, he looked at it as part of the process, but hey, I got this. I'm good. And suddenly, magically, things started changing around him because his external matches internal. That's the power of subconscious rewiring. So, what do you actually have to do to start changing these limiting beliefs? Well, first, you have to stop believing everything you think, because not every thought you think is true. Many of these are conditioned neural pathways that your brain has repeated for years. So, your brain is constantly trying to conserve energy, runs on energy. And so, it's trying to predict what's familiar. And that's why repeated thoughts become automatic over time. Your brain likes that. So it doesn't have to use energy. Neurons that fire together wire together. You may have heard that. It's called Hebb's law. The more often you think a thought, you feel an emotion, you repeat a behavior together, the stronger that neural pathway becomes. And the pathway eventually becomes automatic. It's like muscle memory because I did it over and over and over again. So I don't even need to think it anymore. My brain just takes me there. So if someone has spent years thinking, I'm not good enough, your brain has built an actual pattern around that belief. You have the amygdala. It's a part of the brain heavily involved in fear and emotional processing. It begins reacting automatically to situations that feel threatening to your identity and to your safety, even if it's not threatening at all. Meanwhile, your nervous system starts predicting stress before it even happens. That's why some people panic before they start speaking up. They pull away before intimacy, or they sabotage opportunities right before success. The body memorized emotional patterns. That is where neuroplasticity can change everything. Your brain is not fixed. The brain can literally reorganize itself based on new experiences, repeated thoughts, focused attention, and emotional reinforcement. Every time you interrupt an old pattern and you choose a new response, you begin weakening the old neural connection and you start strengthening a new one. But this takes practice and repetition and awareness. You can't just go off into your day and expect that your thoughts are just going to automatically change. Awareness is powerful. The moment you notice the pattern, the prefrontal cortex, the logical conscious part of the brain, can become overriding those automatic survival responses. So instead of unconsciously reacting, you begin consciously choosing. This is why repetition matters so much. Emotionally connected repetition. The subconscious mind learns through repetition, imagery, emotion, feelings. And that's how you got the beliefs that aren't serving you right now. That's also how you can change those. When you vividly visualize yourself succeeding, feeling calm, speaking confidently, visualize yourself building wealth effortlessly and easily, becoming the version of you that you want to become. The brain actually starts practicing that neurologically. The brain often responds to imagined experiences similar to real experiences. That's why when you watch a scary movie, you have to sleep with the lights on because all of a sudden there's a ghost in the hallway or someone with a bloody knife. That's also why hypnosis works so well. That's also why athletes, they rehearse before games. Emotional visualization changes behavior. You're teaching the brain and the nervous system what is safe to become. And no, this doesn't happen overnight. Healing is not erasing those old memories, but what it is doing is removing the painful meaning that you attached to those old memories. It's the ability to stop allowing those thoughts that were driving your emotions to control your identity. The old pathways may still activate for a while, But every time you respond differently, if you think differently, you speak differently, and you regulate differently, you are rewiring your brain to become something new that you don't even have to think about anymore. It just becomes a new you. It could be as simple as thinking something like, I can't do that. And then you're like, wait, maybe yes, I can. I'll never be able to earn that position. To wait, what if I trust myself to be able to gain the knowledge and the resources to acquire it? That's how transformation begins. I'm not trying to force anything. It's through awareness, repetition, emotional safety, and intentional rewiring. So if you take anything from this video, let it be this: you're not broken and you're not stuck. You are patterned. So whatever keeps showing up in your life that you don't like, you can change that pattern. Your brain can change, your nervous system can change, which in it will change your identity. And everything is driven by our identity. So the moment you stop seeing those limiting beliefs and start seeing them as conditioned programming, it could be indifferent, it can be rewritten. Your entire life can shift. So if this resonated with you, please follow my channel for more videos where I'm going to break down the neuroscience behind limiting beliefs, the subconscious mind, nervous system patterns, how to manifest, and some real life examples of how these beliefs shape our lives, how we can change them and become new human beings with all the things we want. I'll be sharing guided meditations as well, some visualization techniques, and some tools to help start rewiring those patterns that no longer serve you. You can become the version of yourself that you were always meant to be. I'm Julie Edmonds. Thank you, and I love you.